A very good afternoon, my dear students. Welcome back to geography class. We will continue with the lesson Asia, the largest continent. In the previous class, we have discussed about Asia, its political divisions, right? Its extent, location, extent and political divisions we have discussed. Political divisions means according to our convenience, which we have been divided as states, countries, states as well as districts in this way with our boundaries. Here physical divisions means physiography is nothing but based on the landforms, the land which is divided like plains, plateaus or mountains, valleys, rivers, in that way which has been divided, that is known as physical divisions or physiography. So political divisions according to our convenience, which we have divided the land as countries, states, districts with boundaries. So today we will discuss about the physiography or physical divisions of Asia. Just you can have a glance on the picture which is provided in front of you on the screen. The Asia is divided mainly into major 5 divisions, 5 physical divisions. Those are Central Highlands, Northern Lowlands, Plateaus, river basins and islands. Once again, what are the 5 major physical divisions of Asia? Central Highlands, Northern Lowlands, Plateaus, river basins and islands. Just we will discuss about briefly about each and every physical division of Asia. First one, the Central Highlands of Asia. This is a vast area covered by a chain of lofty mountains and plateaus with rugged features. Mountain ranges extend from the Pamir North, located to the north of our India. Once again, so the first region, physical division of Asia, Central Highlands. In the word itself, you can see the meaning, my dear. It is located in the central part of Asia and it is little highland than plains and plateaus. So here, now we will discuss about this physical division. It starts from mountain ranges. This Central Highlands starts from the Pamir North, located to the north of India. The Great Himalayas and the Karakoram extend southwards from the Pamir North. The Hindu Kush range extends towards the west of the Pamir. The Kunlun and the Tian Shan ranges extends eastwards from the Pamir North. The Tian Shan is continued by the Altai and the Walbani ranges. In the west, the Hindu Kush and the Suleiman ranges are followed by the mountain ranges of Iran and Turkey. The Himalayas are the highest in elevation with many peaks exceeding 8,000 meters above sea level. So now we are discussing about one of the physical division of Asia, that is Central Highlands. It starts from the northern part of our India, which is where it is Pamir North. From there to it extends till southwards as well as to its west till Iran and Turkey. The Himalayas are the highest in the elevation with many peaks exceeding 8,000 meters above sea level in one of these physical division, which includes in Central Highlands. The mountain ranges enclose a number of high plateaus also spread across large area. So these surrounding of these mountain ranges, there are number of plateaus also surrounded. The plateau of Tibet, known as the roof of the world, lies between the Himalayas and the Kunlun ranges. Kunlun mountain ranges, between Kunlun mountain ranges and Himalayas, there is a plateau which is known as Pamir North. This is also called as roof of the world, Pamir North. Then the plateaus surrounded by mountain ranges are called intermountain plateaus. Here, as I have told that Central Highlands is nothing but it is completely covered by mountain ranges and as well as some plateaus also. Many mountain ranges which are includes Kunlun mountain ranges, Himalayan mountain ranges, Hindu Kush as well as Suleiman mountain ranges are consist of these Central Highlands. Between these mountain ranges we can see even some plateaus also. One of the plateau which is located in this area is the Pamir Plateau of Tibet, which is also known as roof of the world. So these plateaus which are surrounded by the mountain ranges are called intermountain plateaus. The plateau of Iran and Anatolian plateau in Turkey, also some of the other mountain ranges which are located intermountain plateaus. The Gobi Desert and the Tarim Basin are some other landforms of Central Asia surrounded by mountain ranges. So there are some plateaus surrounded by mountain ranges, as well as there are some deserts also surrounded by mountain ranges we can find in this physical division of Asia, that is in Central Highlands. This is one of the physical division of Asia which we have discussed, Central Highlands. So you will have to write as the, in the notes also you will have to complete as the bullet forms which I have provided in the on the screen in front of you. Please make a notes also, briefly write about the Central Highlands. So you will have to write any 4 points which explains about this physical division. Next we will move on to another physical division of Asia, that is Northern Lowlands. So these northern lowlands, my dear students, you can have the meaning in the word itself, since it is located in the northern part of Asia, as well as they are lowlands comparatively. These Central Highlands, they are known as northern lowlands. So these northern lowlands lie to the north of the central mountain belt or Central Highlands. Again, these lowlands consist of two subdivisions. The one is the northern part is known as the Great Siberian Plain. So in the northern lowlands, these northern lowlands we can divide into two subdivisions. The entire part which is located entirely in the northern part in Siberia, this is called as the Great Siberian Plain. This Siberian Plain is drained by the Ob, the Yenisei and Lena rivers. These rivers flow northwards and enter the Arctic Ocean. The region between the Ural Mountains and Yenisei River is almost level plain. During the beginning of the summer season, snow melts in the upper courses of these rivers while the lower portions remain frozen. Then while the lower portions remain frozen, water stagnates over a large area, forming marshes and swamps. The region between Yenisei and the Lena rivers is an undulating upland. In this way, it is formed as an undulating. Undulating means it is upside, not as a plain, as a equal. It won't be formed as equal upland. It is also a plain, but since it is completely almost located in the Arctic region, the rivers, during the summer season, the upper courses of the river starts to melt and the lower portions remains frozen. Due to these reasons, some areas between these two rivers, the plains, areas means the plain lands which are located between these two rivers are undulating uplands, like not as equal lands. Some places it is higher and elevated, as well as in some areas it is like lowlands. So in this way it is undulating upland, uneven land. We can consider as not even, not equal land. Next, now we will see another subdivision of northern lowlands. To the south of the Siberian plains lie the lowlands of Central Asia. This is a large area of inland drainage. The Caspian Sea and Aral Sea are the two large inland lakes of this area. The Amu Darya and the Syr Darya are the two rivers that originate in the mountains of Central Asia and reach the Aral Sea. Once again, we repeat another subdivision of northern lowlands which lies to the south of the Siberian plains. This is to the south of the Siberian plains lies the lowlands of Central Asia. This is a large area of inland drainage. This also includes with two types of rivers, that is the Amu Darya and the Syr Darya are the two rivers that originate in the mountains of Central Asia and they reach the Aral Sea. Finally, they joins in the Aral Sea. On the other hand, the rivers which are located in the Siberian plains, they finally join into the Arctic Ocean. In this way, you will have to differentiate between the rivers. If any question is asked, give one differentiate between the rivers of Siberian plains and the rivers in the Central Asia, means just the rivers which are located in the Siberian plains reach to the Arctic Ocean, and the rivers which are located in the Central Asia reach to the Aral Sea. Next we will move on to the plateaus. The plateaus of Asia are relatively old and stable blocks of the earth made up of old rocks. Very important feature of these plateaus which are located in Asia are old. They are made up of old rocks and they have stable blocks of the earth and made up of old rocks. This region consists of, again, these plateaus are divided as three subdivisions, three types of plateaus. The plateau of Arabia, the Deccan Plateau of India, and the Huangshan Plateau of China and Southeast Asia. Once again, I repeat the three subdivisions of these plateaus of Asia: the Plateau of Arabia, and the Deccan Plateau of India, and the Huangshan Plateau of China and Southeast Asia. The Arabian Plateau has a steep slope to the west facing the Red Sea. It proceeds gently eastwards approaching the Persian Gulf. Next, the Deccan Plateau of India also has a steep slope towards the west along the Arabian Sea, and it slopes gently towards the eastwards and towards the Bay of Bengal. Next, third one, the Huangshan Plateau of China covers parts of South China, Thailand, Myanmar, Laos and Vietnam. The Deccan Plateau and the Huangshan Plateau are marked by a number of rivers. These old plateaus contain valuable mineral deposits also. Next, we will move on to another physical division of Asia, that is river basins. So, the river basins are located mainly between the central mountain belt and the southern plateaus. These river valleys are regions of fertile alluvial soils and abundant water supply. Most of these rivers, large rivers, originate in the central mountain belt and they are perennial. Since they are originated in the mountain belt, in the central mountain belt, especially at the foothills of the mountains, they are perennial. Unlike the rain-fed rivers, these rivers are filled with water throughout the year. That is why they are called as perennial rivers. So rain-fed rivers only depend on the rain. During the rainy season, they can be filled with water 3 or 4 months. But these perennial rivers which are originated at the foothills of the mountains, they will be filled water throughout the year, because due to these mountains are covered with snow, and during the daytime or during the summer season, these snow melts and flows towards the rivers, and that is why these rivers are filled throughout the year. So most of the rivers in Asia are perennial rivers. Okay. Then then some of the large rivers which are located in Asia are, let us see, the Mesopotamian lowland in Iraq is drained by Euphrates and Tigris rivers. My dear students, about these Euphrates and Tigris rivers, which is one of the major source for the Mesopotamian civilization. You have been learned in the previous class in history lesson. You have studied that Mesopotamia means a land between two rivers. The land, this civilization which is flourished in Mesopotamia is due to these two rivers. Sources are these two rivers only. Euphrates and Tigris are very important rivers, river basins in Asia. Next, we will move on to another important river basins which are located in Asia. Next, the Indo-Gangetic plains cover parts of Pakistan, India and Bangladesh. The Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra are their tributaries drain this lowland. Next river basins, the Irrawaddy river flows in Myanmar and the Menam and the Mekong rivers flow in Indochina. Next, the Huanghe, the Yangtze and the Sikiang rivers flow in China. These are the important river basins located in Asia. Next, we will move on to another physical division of Asia, that is islands. Numerous groups of islands exist on the east coast of Asia. Very importantly, many groups of islands are located on the east coast of Asia. Among the island groups, Japan, the Philippines and Indonesia are three large countries. These islands have many volcanic cones of great height. They are frequently affected by earthquakes. These are the important physical divisions of or physiography of Asia. 5 physical divisions. Please do complete, make a note and complete and submit it.